Okay, welcome. Today we're talking about managing winter de-icing materials and the MS4 outreach, ensuring environmental compliance and community safety. This is a short presentation. Um, the new governor in New Jersey just came out with a snow removal and disposal policy on January 22nd in this year. So that will be a link for that will be at the end of the presentation, so you can download it. We'll cover most of that material in here. So you'll get the gist of what we're trying to do here in New Jersey. Okay. First, here's who I am. I'm Chris Abrupta. I work with Rutgers Cooperative Extension. This is my contact information. And this website here, water.rutgers.edu, this presentation will be posted on this website. Also, the video will be available by sending us an email. Okay. So I work for Rutgers Cooperative Extension. Rutgers University is a land-grant college for the state of New Jersey. Cooperative Extension has been around for about 100 years. Our job is to extend the knowledge of the university out to the people of the state to help them solve their problems. For the last 20 some years, I've been doing that for water resources, really trying to engage and empower communities to take what we're recommending and put these solutions into place. Predominantly dealing with stormwater issues, but we also deal with drinking water and other water related issues. Okay. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about road salt. This is about 8 or 9 slides. It's not very long. First, we need to know why we care about this. There's water quality impairments. Um, the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection has assessments that they do, and they show there's increasing exceedances of chloride and total dissolved solids since 2002. So in other words, the salt that we're using on the roads is getting into our rivers and water bodies, okay? There's an environmental cost here. Excess salt leads to water and air pollution, soil deterioration, vegetation damage, and wildlife habitat degradation, all which can require restoration and cost significant dollars. Okay. There's another issue, sustainability. Reducing salt usage, balancing the needs of safety. We want to avoid accidents with the environmental economic costs of mining, transporting, and the liquid effluent associated with the use of salt on roads. Okay. So under no circumstances we're trying to tell people not to be safe, but we're trying to balance that with our environmental and economic needs. Okay. So New Jersey DEP has a MS4 permit that's out. This is both for county highways and for municipalities, and this presentation applies to both. Um, so the 72-hour rule. Within 72 hours, you must remove the piles of excess salt and de-icing materials deposited during spreading operations after the storm event. Okay. Disposal and reuse. Recovering the excess material must be managed for reuse or proper disposal, prevented from washing into storm drains. So a lot of times we're collecting those excess salt piles. We can throw them back in the bin and use them again for next storm. But if we do dispose of it, it has to be disposed properly. Okay. Equipment rinsing prior to rinsing vehicles for salt applicate used for salt application. Equipment should be cleaned using dry methods like shoveling or sweeping. Recovering the materials must be returned to storage. Okay, so instead of just hosing it down, brush off the excess salt, take that away, and then you can proceed to wash the vehicle. Okay. So proper storage to prevent runoff. This has been in place for a while in New Jersey. Permanent structures are required to store salt and solid de-icing materials with a roof, walls, and floors. The DEP allows fabric structures to be used, but there's strict specifications. Okay, so these are frame structures. 110 have to be able to handle 110-mile wind resistance, fire rating covers, and have impermeable slabs underneath them. So once you probably get all through that, you might be better off just going with a permanent structure. Bulk liquid storage. We use a lot of brine now in New Jersey that's applied before the storm actually gets here, but this is very important. Secondary containment, such as spill containment dikes or double wall tanks, is required for all above the ground tanks that contain liquid de-icing materials. Okay, so they want to be very careful that these tanks, someone backs into it, punctures the tank. Um, that this de-icing material isn't leaked all over the yard and wind up in the storm drains and into the streams. Okay. Okay. Outreach to businesses and privately owned salt storage facilities. In the past, we didn't really worry too much about that. Now the new requirements are that we have to be careful that anybody who's using salt, whether it's the county, the town, or private business, homeowner association, a mall, whatever it is, that they're properly protecting that salt pile so it doesn't wash away and cause environmental damage. Okay. So the municipal or county ensures businesses are included in the salt management through the adoption and enforcement of privately owned salt storage ordinances. There is a municipal ordinance that the state released that you can simply adopt that ordinance, basically saying that all privately owned salt facilities must take proper measures, and if not, they can be fined. Okay. So that's what this is all about. So it requires that the piles of salt or de-icing materials, solid de-icing materials, that are not stored in permanent structures, are covered with tarps and secured with when not in use. So I've seen a lot of salt piles sitting in the parking lots of business centers, uncovered with the tarp laying next to it. That's unacceptable. That can result in fines. And it's on the county municipality also to make sure that those folks are doing the right thing. Okay. Mechanical snow melters, businesses using these must notify and obtain approval from municipalities or the county before discharging any effluent from these snow melters. Okay. Um, Outreach on illicit connections and disposal hazards. Um, Outreach materials must clarify that snow or melted snow may not be dumped into water bodies, wetlands, near public water supplies, or on top of stormwater basins or swales. So it's on the municipality and the county to make sure that they're sending out notices to businesses and private owners that they're not doing this. Okay. Business must be informed that discharging de-icing materials or salt-laden snow into these areas constitute a hazard and a potential illicit connection to the MS4 system, meaning an illegal connection to their stormwater system. And that can be a huge problem for the town, can also result in a big problem for that business owner. Okay. Um, Public awareness campaign, municipality and county can launch campaigns to educate the community and local businesses on environmental impacts of road salt and encourage responsible usage on private properties. A lot of people are been buying salt lately. We're in the middle of a deep freeze here in New Jersey. It's early February 2026. And I don't think you can find a bag of salt in any store throughout the state. People are applying this. 1 cup is good. They believe 3 cups is even better. They have to be careful, follow the directions. A lot of salt really isn't needed. In many cases, it only takes a little bit to achieve the job. So engaging businesses in best management practices or BMPs. Collaborative planning, salt reduction plans should include input from various stakeholders, which can include community organizations and businesses. There's some watershed associations, other groups that are developing these types of plans to try to make sure that they reduce the salt that's going to, whether it's the Roadway River, the Millstone River, whichever the waterway it is. And when you're doing those plans, what they're encouraging you to do is to bring all the stakeholders together, bring the businesses in, bring the people who own the shop right in, the homeowner association, get them all involved in this. Anti-icing education outreach can encourage businesses to invest in liquid de-icers or anti-icing agents which prevent ice from bonding to pavement and reducing the overall need for salt. And we see a lot of this in New Jersey now. There's a lot of brine being applied prior to the storm, so when it does start to snow, it doesn't stick. So so this is a new kind of thing that we're looking more into. A lot of times people are using rock salt because it's cheaper, but this is kind of a direction that people are heading to. So the last thing is calibration education. Businesses that manage their own lots can be encouraged to calibrate their equipment to ensure accurate application rates, mirroring municipalities and the counties and what they do. The counties and the municipalities, the public works guys are doing a great job on this over the last 10 years. They've really stepped up the program of making sure that when they're parked at a traffic light, the spreaders stop and they'll continue to spread. They're spreading at a rate that's been agreed upon, that's going to be appropriate and not excessive. So a lot of this is already being done. Just make sure that the new guys who are being hired are following the rules, and the old guys who are going to retire are following the rules. So, um, finally, municipality and county responsibility and oversight. Compliance affirmation. Municipalities and counties maintain inventory uh, of its practices and affirms compliance with the MS4 requirements annually. Every year in May, there is a stormwater coordinator for municipality and the county that have to file a form that says they're in compliance. They document that all the township officials and municipal officials and county officials and county workers and municipal workers have been trained and they understand this and they're following the rules. Um, Maintenance street sweeping is conducted triannually on roads with storm drains to remove residual salt and debris. So a lot of street sweeping is occurring. It's great if you can street sweep after a storm to catch that excess salt, but a lot of times it's kind of hard because a lot of people are working overtime during the storm event, but trying to get out there as soon as you can to maybe sweep up some of that salt is a good idea. Um, and finally, the goal is to maintain road safety while minimizing the reliance on salt through better planning, training, and community-wide engagement. So we don't want you to not salt the roads, have people go in accidents, but like I said, we want you to be careful about following the rules and making sure you're using the right amounts and not using excess. So there's some references in here. When you download it, you'll see looks like the fifth one down is that snow removal policy that DEP just released in January. But these are good references. You can take a look at them. I believe we covered everything we're supposed to cover. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Go to water.rutgers.edu to get a copy of this presentation. And if you need any more information, you can contact me or Holly DeMuro at the Water Resources Program. Thank you.